Hello, Super Saver. I hope all's well. So, as I predicted since January of this year when Treasury Secretary Yellen first announced that we had hit the debt ceiling, our country has once again managed to not default. And in near typical fashion, just in the nick of time. So here's what we're covering in today's video. 1. What we bought and how much we made during the debt ceiling T-bill blip, when T-bills maturing around the original X-date of June 1st were showing higher than expected yields. 2. The auction chaos that happened last week as the debt ceiling deal was being signed, and what to do about it now. And 3. Why TreasuryDirect may ask you for your social security number the next time you log in. We confirmed that this was not a scam. As usual, here's our front of video disclaimer. For a detailed disclaimer, please refer to the end of this video. So, let's dive in, folks. This table shows our T-bill and CMB purchases over the past 10 days, most of which have maturities around the X date, the debt ceiling deadline. This row shows the term and security. This row shows the purchase date. This row shows the maturity date. Here's the face value of bills purchased. And here's my total purchase price. This row shows the absolute amount of interest earned, so the face value of the bills minus the total purchase price. And this row shows the annualized yield. There are two things to note here. The first is that all 4 of these bills were placed at auction. So these yields here are the actual investment rates that are listed on TreasuryDirect's website. And this bill here was a secondary market purchase on the day that very short-term T-bills maturing around the X date peaked above 7%. So this annualized yield is from Fidelity. The second thing to note is that these last 2 purchases were made after the House passed the debt ceiling deal, and that their yields, while still good, are trending down to somewhat more normal levels. So, if we look at this total column, the absolute amount of interest earned during this blip period was about $122 on a little less than $59,000 of principal investment. Not earth-shattering by any measure, but completely fine at a bit more than 5.6% on an annualized basis for this part of my bond portfolio, which is essentially for non-earth-shattering but solid returns on investments that are, for all practical purpose, risk-free in my mind. My only complaint really is that we couldn't get similar yields like this for longer dated treasuries. And yes, I did buy this one-day CMB here just for fun, because it is the shortest cash management bill I've seen since we started picking up treasuries this cycle. Now, I'm curious, how many of you also took advantage of the blip period, and are you happy with how things worked out for you? And be sure to check out these member videos for those of you who've asked about what the debt ceiling deal and recent Fed conversations might mean for T-bill yields in the coming months. Right, let's move on now to last week's debt ceiling induced auction chaos and what to do about it now for those of you who were caught up in this. So, as we made our Super Saver community aware of a few days ago, this coming Monday's 13 and 26-week auctions were temporarily on hold last week, meaning you couldn't put in a purchase order for them on Fidelity, Schwab, Vanguard, E-Trade, or any of the leading brokerage platforms. The reason for this was because the Treasury was waiting for the Senate to pass the debt ceiling deal, which they did in the end. This means that you should now be able to place an order for this coming Monday's 13 and 26-week T-bill auctions with your broker. And for those of you who have 13 and 26-week T-bills scheduled to auto-roll into this Monday's auctions, I would suggest that you call your broker directly to make sure that this is still happening, because I know quite a few of you received emails saying that these auto-rolls might not happen. Also note that there is a 44-day cash management bill that will be auctioned off on Monday, June 5th. You can find this 44-day CMB on Fidelity and E-Trade, the only 2 leading brokerage companies that we are aware of that offer CMBs at auction. The expected yield on Fidelity at the time of this taping is 5.146%, but this can and usually does change up until the time of the auction close based on market conditions. I've linked this video below for those of you who aren't sure how to find CMBs on Fidelity and E-Trade. Plus, for those of you who might be interested in how chaotic everything really got, this 38-day CMB was actually announced on Friday, June 2nd, and auctioned off that same day to institutional investors only, it seems. So yes, the Treasury is like a child in a newly opened candy store with its onslaught of auctions currently. Even though the ink still probably hasn't quite dried on the debt ceiling deal. Now, for those of you who are buying your T-bills or other Treasury securities via TreasuryDirect, let's talk about why you may be asked for your Social Security number the next time you log onto TreasuryDirect. So one of our Super Saver members actually brought this to my attention. He entered his account number and password on the TreasuryDirect website and was then asked for his Social Security number. To make a long story just a little bit shorter, he finally gave in and entered his Social Security number. But then he was directed to a page asking him to answer his security questions, at which point he stopped and asked if anyone here ran into the same issue. This didn't happen to me when I logged into my TreasuryDirect account, and when I asked you guys, the vast majority of you also said that this didn't happen to you. So despite my trepidation of waiting on hold for 2 hours, I called TreasuryDirect. Given how many folks in our community have TreasuryDirect accounts, even the slim chance that this Social Security thing could have been a scam bugged me too much. Maybe it was my lucky day, but the wait was only 2 minutes before I was connected with another Jennifer. And here's what that Jennifer told me. This is completely legitimate. TreasuryDirect may direct you to a page asking you to enter your Social Security number and then answer your security question or questions before asking you to change your password. This usually happens if you enter your password incorrectly after 2 or 3 attempts, but sometimes it just happens. Our member who had initially experienced this and reported it on our channel also emailed TreasuryDirect to be sure, and they confirmed with him similarly that he was in the actual TreasuryDirect website when he received all these prompts about his Social Security number, security questions, and changing his password. So it seems this is another new security feature on the TreasuryDirect website after their last update, to which I once again can only say the old one was just fine, at least for us. All right, Super Saver, good luck to those of you who are planning on picking up some treasuries this week. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. For those of you who want to take a deeper dive into our latest members-only videos on where treasury yields may be headed, check out our channel page or the joint link in the video description below for more details. And if you're a Super Saver member already, then make sure you didn't miss this latest one in the Member Zone. See you again very soon with more brand new wealth-building content for your financial journey.